this entrepreneurship panel discussion that's going to be taking place. And like the previous one, there are going to be 2 speakers and 2 facilitators who will be managing it. So our speakers, I was just speaking to Mr. Ngobeni now that we saw each other last week at a different technology event, and that's just to show you how involved he is in the technology space. And it was the launch of X-ray glasses. The launch of X-ray glasses, the 2 young South African women, 21 years of age, if I'm not mistaken, were launching, and it's going to really change the industry of X-rays. But without further ado, Mr. Ngobeni is the co-founder of Geekulcha, a tech entrepreneur, connector, social media geek, and amateur chef. I don't know, do we get to judge? Okay. He was recognized as a Mail and Guardian Top 200 Young South Africans in 2015, and a finalist for the IT Personality of the Year 2017. That's really cool. I didn't know you get IT personalities. I think that's great. A formal Red Bull basement brand manager, a global mentor, as well as a Microsoft student partner. He's also been nominated as one of tomorrow's leaders by SAIN and honored as one of the 30 most inspirational young South Africans by Youth Villages. He has been listed amongst the Sowetan top 100 young bosses, top 100 superbalists, Africa's top 10 young South Africans in tech, and VentureBurn's top 31 entrepreneurs under 40 in South Africa. Can we give him a welcoming round of applause? Thank you so much. And then our next panelist is going to be Marcia Monareng, who I also saw 2 weeks ago. Yeah, my circle. Who is your circle? Ask yourself that question. She was also, you won. She won a brand award that we're going to talk about, Top Youth-Owned Brand Awards, at an awards ceremony that took place 2 weeks ago. But a little bit about her bio. She's the founder and CEO of Millennial Mindset Media, a digital agency that focuses on uplifting the youth through an innovative approach to digital marketing. She's also been a member of Golden Key, so you know that she's smart. She's got a bachelor's degree in media and psychology at the University of Witwatersrand, and over 6 years of experience in the digital industry. I'm going to list a couple of companies that she's worked with, right? DSTV, South African Music Awards, Gauteng Sports Awards, Menlyn Main, South African Traditional Music Awards, Tiger Brands, Forest Hill City, and so much more on a variety of digital marketing campaigns throughout her career. She has gained valuable experience, and she's going to be sharing that to us because she is also an entrepreneur. So can we give her a round of applause as she joins us on stage, rather? Thank you. And as our panelists warm up to our facilitators of the program, sorry, I switched things around. You guys are sitting looking at me saying, Elma, introduce us. But the facilitators of this session is going to be Keketso as well as Angela. So I'm going to hand over to you to take over this session and make it your own. Let's give a round of applause to our scholars. Lovely. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing? Guys, we just had tea, come on. Say conference. Now, there we go. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. As Alma mentioned, we're here to talk about all things entrepreneurship and go beyond what the bios have said. And we are basically going to start with a very simple question. If you have read the bios, we are wondering, just briefly, ma'am, what is a social entrepreneur and what is a tech entrepreneur? For those in the room that do not know what that is. You could go first.
Hi, everyone. Like I was introduced, my name is Marcia Monareng, and I am the founder of Millennial Mindset Media, and recently founded Millennial Mindset Foundation, which is a nonprofit. So to answer your question, a social entrepreneur is a person who goes beyond making a profit. A social entrepreneur makes sure that they empower people and give back to the community. So as a person who runs a digital agency and recently got into social entrepreneurship, my vision is to drive digital inclusivity in the townships and make sure that I uplift young people from the township. And that's what social entrepreneurship is about. It's about giving back and empowering others.
So just before we go on, we've just been informed that you have a presentation to give. Could you just please give your presentation?
Morning, afternoon. Hi, guys. Are you guys good? All right, cool. I'll keep this very quick. So this is me. And yeah, I always use this photo. I've been using it for a good 10 years now because I think it represents who I am. I'm slightly lazy, always next to the computer, but also on the phone. So the Geekulcha community that I built, this is our organization. This was built through the use of a phone. We started building a community on Facebook, and now we've grown to having one of the biggest tech communities within the country. So I'll just share a little bit with you guys about my journey, so you just get a bit of a sense of where everything started. Okay, so that's Geekulcha. I'll come back to it. This is where my journey started. Who's familiar with any of this? All right, cool. So this is basically where my journey started some years back. I was not sure what I was really doing. I was just being a kid with the marbles, just playing. But I think that nurtured my ability of trading and exchanging things with people. So same thing with the Pokemon. Just as a kid, primary, just started playing, trading. And instead of playing more, I'll just trade more. So it was just a thing that I was just randomly doing. With the cell phone covers, my cousin introduced me. I was in high school. He introduced me to cell phone covers for that phone. Familiar with it? 3310. So Maravastad, guys, is a gold mine. He showed me Maravastad, and I'd go and buy the cell phone covers, and I'll sell them a lot at school. So I'll spend most of my time in class just selling cell phone covers. Again, it was not like, let me start a business. I was just like, I can actually make some cool cash, extra cash. There's people that feel like spending more money, and let me just take their money. And then the cell phone, the DVDs or CDs, introduced to Maravastad, and would be selling a lot of that, especially on campus. So the reason why I'm showing you all this stuff is just, this is where I feel my journey started. I was just playing around, doing a lot of trading. I'd also sell airtime. So instead of going to class, again, Maravastad, I'd go to Maravastad, stock a lot of airtime. And by my area, there was a guy who had a spaza shop. And I just engaged with him, and I was supplying him with stock, right? And I expanded. Again, I wasn't calling it expanding. I was just like saying more money, right? So I expanded to different parts, going to universities as well. And I started selling airtime a lot. I stopped simply because in 2010, they broke into our house, and they were actually looking for a briefcase, or at least where the money was, right? So that's when I actually took a brief stop. But I think that phase changed a lot for me because firstly, there was a little bit of fear in terms of doing things, but that also, after a while, started sparking this thing of life can happen. Anything can happen at any given time. Right, so I took that opportunity and said, okay, how do I grab this opportunity and run with it? Because these guys broke into the house. They made me go down on my knees. I still laugh at it sometimes because they asked me to close my eyes, cover myself with the towel. And I thought I was gone, But the funny part is when they ran out, I ran out with the screwdriver chasing after them. That was just the adrenaline kicking in. I don't think I was going to do anything. But that changed my perspective of life because I realized, you can die at any given moment, right? So that's when I started this organization, Geekulcha. It was a matter of how do we, because I love technology, right? How do you grab the opportunity? How do you create a strong tech community? This was something completely different from selling airtime, selling CDs. I had to learn how to, start a proper organization. I had to learn about the financial side of things, to a point that even doing quotes and invoices, I literally had to ask people for quotes and invoices so that I can copy their quotes and invoices. So that's how I started learning how to do that. Our first event activity that we did, we charged 4,000 Rand. It was pretty awesome to get 4,000 Rand. It just disappeared very quickly because that's how excited we were. Our first proper major project, we had to pay back. So we're doing app development for this guys that this idea. We took the project and we had to pay back the money because we're not doing very well. So that's another lesson, in terms of when you take projects, don't just take everything. Take things that you are essentially good at. All right. So just because of time, I'll just quickly go with this. Through the years, there's a lot of things that I've learned. There's a lot of mistakes I've ideally made, in building the company that we have. And I just want to quickly share some of those things. Look after the pennies, and they'll look after you. This is one of the biggest lessons that I learned. It's easy to get money to a point that even getting 100,000, at first it sounds like a lot of money. You start looking at it and it starts going 95,000 and you think it's still there. Then it says 93,000 and you think it's 3 there. And then it goes 65 and you're like, but it's still there, until it disappears. One of the big lessons is we got one big project. It was a good 7 digits. And I took a screenshot of that because I kind of like had a sense it would disappear. So it only lasted for a day. No, I didn't spend it. It was part of a project, right? So one of the biggest things is we did not learn how to manage that project. We did not learn how to actually cater for the project to a point that we did not make profit at all. So that's how it actually disappears. So please take care of the pennies. They'll definitely take good care of you. Build strong networks. These are the guys that I grew up with. This was taken at Gautrain here in Pretoria. It was taken at the Gautrain back. I think this was McDonald's back in the day. So these are a bunch of friends, students, university. We're TUT students, all of us here. We're TUT. And then some of them have become good friends. One of them in blue has become my business partner, right? Some of them have gone to industries, and they are the ones that are bringing back the work to us. They're the ones that are speaking for us in the rooms when we're not there. So please learn to build great networks. Wherever you go, it's all about networking, right? Some of those networks do not pay off at this current moment, but in the long run, they do. But in also building networks, learn also it's not always take, learn to give. So we give a lot without expecting much, but in the long run, it does pay off. Take calculated risks. This is, I just love this photo, the whole video. But essentially, take calculated risks because that is what entrepreneurship is. It's not just about taking risks, it's about taking those calculated risks. You do not know how things will turn out. It might become a dusty destination. You might not even reach your destination, but it's all about, if you at least have those calculated risks, you can easily, your journey becomes a lot easier. Understand your market. I'm seeing a lot of people not understanding their markets. Lots of assumptions that they come up with in building their businesses, in looking at their audiences. So whatever you do, make sure you understand your market, understand what is it that they need, and how to get it to them. Right? Okay, this does not come out well. But essentially, it's not a FINA problem. If there's anything you need to take away from this session, and I think maybe this program as a whole, is entrepreneurship is not really that complicated. Find a problem. There's always people that have a need, right? Find that particular need. Provide a particular service. It might be selling marbles. It might be selling whatever it might be. Provide that particular need, and please make sure you charge, right? A lot of us build, businesses that sometimes are not sustainable, and it does catch up with you in the long run. So whatever you do, make sure that you do charge. I'll take questions, a bit later. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, and I'm glad he told us why he didn't spend that 7 digits in one day, because I was about to say they just told us to save and invest, eh? So Ms. Marcia just told us what being a social entrepreneur is. She'll just shortly be telling us more about that.
Okay, sorry guys. The video refuses to play, but I'll just start anyway. My name is Marcia Monareng, and I am the founder of Millennial Mindset Media. Millennial Mindset Media is a purpose-driven digital marketing agency that is based in the township. So I'll start by sharing a little bit about who is Marcia. I grew up in a small township called Leachville. It's in the east of Johannesburg in Ekurhuleni. I always say that Leachville is one of those forgotten townships. We don't have a library, no park, no recreational facilities for young people. However, despite growing up in this environment, I am a proud Wits graduate. I graduated with a BA in Media Studies and Psychology, and I was a Golden Key Honor Society member. My spirituality is everything. I'm a Christian, and if you know entrepreneurship, it's a very long, lonely, and hard journey. So you need something to believe in, and my spirituality is my anchor during those turbulent entrepreneurship moments. And then I am a lifelong learner. I believe in learning. If I'm not working, you'll find me binge watching the latest Netflix documentary, reading a self-help book. I know some of you guys are gonna judge me. Or actually listening to a thought-provoking podcast. I value service. I grew up around entrepreneurs. My mom runs a kota shop, my dad a mechanic. My grandmother is a pastor and community leader, so I grew up in a household that values service. Last but not least, I am a multi-award-winning entrepreneur, and I have been recognized by many reputable organizations, both internationally and locally. Just to name a few, one of them is Santam Women of the Future Awards, where last year I was a Rising Star finalist, and I also got the award for the Reader's Choice, and I am currently a Santam Woman of the Future ambassador. Thank you. Thank you. This year I won the top media brand, not only in South Africa, but we were awarded the top media brand in South Africa and Africa at this year's Top Youth-Owned Brands Awards, and the list goes on. So in my 3 years of entrepreneurship, I've gotten more than 10 awards and many other accolades in my career. I've been in business for 3 years and 6 months, but it wasn't always nice. Here's where it all started. I was a frustrated graduate. I think when we all leave school, we are told that we need to focus in school, work hard, study, and you'll get a good job. This is not the reality, especially for many of us in South Africa. We live in a country that has a high unemployment rate, and there's a lot of graduates, but not enough job opportunities for them. So I decided that I was going to be a solution to the problem, so I launched Millennial Mindset Media. For the sake of time, I launched Millennial Mindset Media to help bridge the digital divide while also helping corporates better connect with their customers through our various services such as social media management, animation, graphic design, website design, and all of that. We started working from a small container that you can see at the top, and we now actually have our first property. We are still in the township, deliberately so. Here's what led to my success so far. I was gonna actually break down each point, but if there's one thing you need to take away from this entire presentation is that true success begins on the other side of service. So wherever you are, find if there's a problem in your community that you would like to solve, be a solution to that problem, and make sure that you pride yourself in giving quality service and making sure that your clients, whether you're running a business or the people that you serve in your community, get the best of you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I have a very curious question towards that I'm going to ask you. Why a millennial? What actually prompted to come up with millennial? Why not Gen Z or something?
I really like that question. So I was born in 95. I'm a millennial. So when I started Millennial Mindset Media, it was in 2017. Again, I was a frustrated graduate. And when I was looking for a job at the time, I always get these questions like, do you have 3 years of experience? Do you have a car? And I'm just like, I literally just arrived. Where am I supposed to get all of this experience for? So I was a frustrated graduate, and my friend and I at the time had just graduated from VIT, and we were like, we millennials, we're gonna launch a company called Millennial Mindset Media, and we're gonna give all these young millennials and young people a chance. So that's how Millennial Mindset Media came about.
Thank you so
That
much.
is very, very interesting. And what I like about both our panelists is that they relate to most of us in the room, where you come from some sort of difficult background and you have to make something out of it and put yourself out there. So my question for both of you, but starting with Mr. Misho, how do you do that? I know everyone always says network and all that, but how do we do it? I mean, most of us are sitting in this room and thinking, where do I even start?
I won't run away from the networking part, but I think it's also surrounding yourself with the right people, learning a lot. I think she said she's binging on different documentation, one judge in the South Park, but essentially you consume the content that you want to be in. That helps you see how other people are doing. That helps you see what others are doing. So when I started, I literally got myself a BlackBerry, with an aim of learning as much as possible with less cost. And I would consume content in terms of people that I wanted to be like. So your Mark Zuckerberg, your Google guys. So identify the people that make sense to you, that you can relate to, and understand and study how they move. That is one way. And also just sometimes take that little bit of a risk. I think most of us have great ideas. I have lots of ideas written down, but we do not take the step forward in terms of trying to implement these ideas. We're scared and are always waiting for the perfect idea. So just take the leap, and then learn as you go.
Yeah, just a follow-up on that, but this pertaining both of you. The reason why we're talking about the issue of networking is because, honestly speaking, though we are at school, university, most of the time we are being trained in the mind, but soft skills, things like that, we are not actually being given that much. We are smart intellectually, but we can't know how to relate to the next person. And the world out there is random. It's not like university inside where the things are just running. And so the reason why we're asking you guys to tell us the specifics as to how do I actually do this thing, because I remember last time I had an opportunity to go to Cape Town. It was a conference, and then I'm like, I want to get back with something from this conference. So what I did was to make sure that on that conference, I will only wear suits, and very good. It was right on that spot that somebody recognized me and gave me an internship on spot because of how I appeared, the way I presented myself. So what I mean is, from your perspective, maybe some like specifics, how can you say, okay, I did this and this is the best way one can do?
All right. From my side, I was very inquisitive. I was not scared of, throwing in the DM. So if there was an event and if the ticket was expensive, I'd write to them. And when I go to this particular event, I go with my friends if they want to come, but I always say we need to separate. The reason why we need to separate is so that I can gain different knowledge, and then they gain different knowledge and come back with it. But in the tech space, it's also easier I think our starting conversation starter is, what do you do? So wherever you go to conferences, you'll be sitting with a bunch of people, and it is, what do you do? So what I also learned is I listen first. I go to a circle. I listen to what they're talking about, and then I jump into that part of conversation with what I know around it. And I ask a lot of questions. So that helps a lot. So it's difficult to share the nitty-gritties, but for me it was just plunge in, ask the particular questions, and do not be scared of standing with the different people and just asking any random question. It builds on that conversation. Nice one on the suite as well. For me, it's always been like this, and I think because of the audience where I'm in, it made it much easier as well. And the glasses help; they can relate. It's like one of us.
So I just to answer your question, I think, where do you start? I think it starts with believing in yourself. A lot of the time we overthink and we think that we don't belong in certain spaces, or we're not worthy of living our dreams. And I think as a person, especially as a young person sitting here, believe in yourself and start where you are. You know, you don't have to, someone says they want to be a photographer. I'm always like, okay, where are your pictures? I don't have a camera. Do you have a phone? Then if you have a phone, you should be taking pictures. I think at the end of the day, sometimes we always think that we need certain things. We need to start there. But you need to start where you are, believe in yourself, and use the resources that we have. Right now, we have so many resources, guys. We live in a digital age. We can literally chat to corporates, big corporates on LinkedIn. They're literally a DM away. We have AI, artificial intelligence, with so many opportunities in there. I think sometimes you always overthink, but start where you are, believe in yourself.
Thank you so much. The reason why I'm also asking this, because a lot of people, they will be encouraging young people that, okay, make businesses, make entrepreneurship, things like that. Okay, one would say, I started one rice to make the entire restaurant. There's a lot of junk out there that actually everybody's coming up with something. Like, this is how you have to start all that. So the journey of moving from rack to rafters is quite of sometimes challenging for a person to grasp exactly that. What is it that I have to do? I don't know, maybe you had some people probably they have some rich uncle somewhere, but they won't tell you that my uncle did this to me, and they'll just say that, okay, I just made things make my way out. I was just encouraging all that. I remember I read an essay of someone some years ago. It was a scholar, and they were applying for a certain thing. They had mentioned that they don't have a home, they are staying in a cemetery. You can imagine. So such a person, now you are going to talk to them about business, about entrepreneurship and all that thing. Take yourself and put yourself in their shoes. A lot of us have experiences. We come from different backgrounds, yes. So sometimes we find that as people that are coming to talk to us, we may not really fully say some of the things that give us the edge into making it. So put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's there, down there, who actually has nothing. How does one move from wrecks to rafters? What does it take? Does it just a courage? What does it take? There's nothing, no idea, nothing. What's the journey? How does one make a step from there?
Mr. Mixo, would you like to take that question?
I don't have a rich uncle, but I think I had a slight advantage, and I never thought about it. And the slight advantage is my aunt was always selling. So when I go visit her, again, I was selling things, Her son made my life difficult because he had lots of toys, and he would not want to give me the toys. But everything he was doing was always about trading and trading and trading. So it's those things that I gained then that I would use to move into the learning part, right? So it's a bit of a difficult one because I don't think I necessarily moved from rags to riches. It was really a lot of observing as well. So I'm from Limpopo, right? And when I came to Gauteng, it was a whole different ball game. Everything was shiny and whatnot. But again, it was just that ability of being observant of how people move, being observant of the language, the behavior, how people do their transactions. So a lot of those things for me was really all about observing how other people are doing. And then from coming up with ideas, again, it was not like, let me think about a million idea. It was an opportunity that was presented to me by Microsoft, and I saw a gap because they were talking about stuff that I did not understand, And I saw that particular gap, and I told them that I see this particular gap. Can you guys take me in so that I can actually help my fellow students at TUT to actually be on the same level as the other students? So they took me in, and then it just helped in terms of us moving forward. Yeah, but it's just really finding the gap. For me, it was just really finding a gap and observing what's going on around me.
Sure. That question is a lot, hey? And I also want to echo what Misho was saying in terms of being observant. There's a popular saying that says, success leaves clues. And it's the truth, you know, if you really follow what people do, successful people do, you can be able to duplicate that. However, I think it's very important to acknowledge our privilege. I grew up in a township, right? But even in townships, there's varying levels of access, there's varying levels of income in different households. So ekaya, at my home, they used to sell amakota. So amakota, Africa, what is it? Bunny chow. So they used to sell bunny chows at home. So we were slightly well off, and I could be able to go to an English school where I decided that I'm going to work hard so that I can get into university, because the only way I would afford university is through what? Funding. So I think you need to be very aware of where you are and take advantage of the access that you have wherever you are. So if there's an opportunity to expose yourself to opportunities, run, because you cannot dream about what you don't know. You have to be exposed so that you can dream bigger.
Ooh, thank you so much. I really like that the common theme is putting yourself out there. There's a common saying that says, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. And that's just what we need to take away. Put yourself out there, ask, and observe the environment around you. So now, because of timekeeping, I see the timekeeper isn't even smiling with us anymore. We are just going to ask one last question, and we are going to move to the Q&A. So now, the common theme throughout this conference has been entrepreneurship, right? Start businesses. And there are people out there that are saying, I just want a 9-to-5. I just want to be a housewife. So one question is, in your experience, is entrepreneurship for everyone? And if it's not, why not? We'll start with you.
Okay, so to answer, I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. One, because if we're all entrepreneurs, who's going to be the employees? We need them. We need the 9-to-5ers as entrepreneurs. And yeah, we can't all be entrepreneurs. And it's a very difficult journey, guys. If I had the choice, I would also opt to be a housewife.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. I used to bash in my early days 9-to-5. You know, I wanted to be, my own boss so that I can, work from the beach and do whatever and not do much work until I saw flames, So I've got a new respect for 9-to-5, even though I've never gone to that route and I don't plan on going that route. I just have a new respect for it because it brings comfort. It brings a bit of structure in your life. You do not worry what's going to happen tomorrow. You do not try to work for 18 hours straight out, So yeah, definitely not for everyone. But I mean, if you are thinking of an idea, we live in a very exciting space where you can actually be 9-to-5 and actually dab into the entrepreneurship side. We just shouldn't really complicate it that much.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the Q&A. I know I have questions, but I can't take all the time. So do we have any questions? So you have one question at the back, the second hand, third, and fourth. So for now, we'll just take 4 questions.
I go first. Okay, good afternoon, and thank you so much for the incredible presentation, very informative. Can you hear me? Oh, they're saying I should stand? Oh, okay. My name is Ngobeni, and I'm doing my master's in banking law. So what I want to ask is, most of us are very interested in entrepreneurship, and it's something that I think is quite romanticized. It's all about like hard work, do this, do this. So I need like a bit of reality check. What are some of the challenges that are very common that you guys have faced?
We'll just take a second question and then
We'll take two questions.
the second question was I would just like to take the recognized hands, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tuto. I'm doing my master's in development studies. My question is to the both of you guys. So I think, as Priti said, all of us would like to be entrepreneurs, and some pursue the 9 to 5 and, have a side hustle on the side. For me, I'd just like to ask, so how did you guys identify like your niche, your unique selling point? Because a lot of us have, the same ideas, how did you guys identify that one thing that sets you apart to get you to where you are today? Thank you.
We'll just allow the panelists to answer the 2 questions and we'll take the second round of questions. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start. Priti, thank you for the question. What you asked, what are some of the challenges that we face? I can speak about the one that I'm currently facing right now, because there's many. Right now, my challenge is human resources, so managing people. So I've always worked, like in the beginning of my career, I worked as a solopreneur, and now I am working with people. And added to that, I'm working with Gen Zs, young people. Everyone has unique personalities, and on top of that, these are young people. Most of them, most of my team is from the township, so everyone is coming from different backgrounds with different sort of socioeconomic issues that they have to navigate. So this is one of my biggest challenges, and one of the lessons that I've learned is that it's so important to really do a thorough onboarding with the new employees. Make sure that some of them also go through therapy if needed, so that they are ready to work in at my agency. So this is one of the challenges that I'm facing, managing people. And I think when you get into entrepreneurship, you need to know that you're going to work with people, you're going to face challenges, you're going to face conflicts. You need to be able to navigate it. If not, you need to maybe get a partner or someone who can help you, who's better with people, to help you in that instance, or even outsource human resource professionals who handle things like human resources. So that's one of my challenges.